Challenger 2, not to be confused with the Challenger Mark II that didn't actually exist, but hush hush, is coming to the game, opening up rank 7 of ground forces for War Thunder, and here to discuss that with me is some random guy I pulled off the streets of Discord. Everybody say hi to PumaTato.
Howdy.
Alright, so I'm going to level with you guys. I did a really bad job of recording the audio for this one, and by that I mean I did not record the questions I was asking and the things I was saying, so here I am in post-production, re-recording all of this for you guys' benefit. Things aren't going to come out quite the way that I did when I was making the video, and that's probably for the best. I took too long to say things anyway, so eventually I did a little bit of talking about what it means that we're getting a rank 7. Several of the high battle rating rank 5 premiums are probably going to come up to rank 6, similar to the way that certain rank 5 vehicles came up to rank 6 when that was opened up, and I think that would be very appropriate at this point in the life cycle of War Thunder. I think it's too soon to introduce an expensive new high tier of premium vehicles, the price tag being already plenty high on the current rank 5 premiums that are secretly rank 6 vehicles. After that, I asked PumaTato what he thinks about the nations with a smaller 6th rank lineup, Japan, Italy, and France, if he would like to see them get a rank 7 vehicle with the next major patch, or if he would rather see their rank 6 lineup improved before they get thrown into rank 7 top tier combat against more fleshed out nations.
I think that I would most definitely want to see more of the rank 6 vehicles. If the vehicles cannot even compete that well with other rank 6 vehicles, then I don't think that we should be thrusting them into rank 7 battles.
That seems like a fair opinion, and that's one that I happen to share myself. I'd love to see tech trees get fleshed out, and I think it's okay to have not everyone participating in the same top tier. France already is not really competitive at top tier. Italy has to rely on a meme machine in the form of the automatic to be relevant, with their other top tier vehicles, lacking in numbers, what they perhaps make up for in performance in the current meta. The major nations have way more numbers, and that tends to make quite the difference with the way that respawn costs work in RB right now, which is of course the main game mode for ground battles. When it comes to balance, I asked Puma how he feels about the current rank 6 balance and how he would like to see that translate over into rank 7, and his response was as follows.
I think that for the main countries, Germany, the USSR, and America, they have fairly competitive rank 6 trees, and I think that the balance there is pretty good, and I think that the overall rank 6 meta is pretty good for most countries. Everyone can kill you, and you can kill everyone generally, and I think that we need to be careful about how that carries on into rank 7, because with the ammunition that we have at rank 6, I'm not sure if we'd be able to compete at all against stuff like the Challenger 2 with its, I want to say, 500 millimeters of turret armor, and presumably the other rank 7 tanks with their good armor. I think that we should try to maintain the meta of you can pen everyone and everyone can pen you, to be able to really make sure that it's balanced, at least at the beginning. And I think that other than that, as long as we have enough good enough variety of vehicles that we can deal with all the situations that may arise at rank 7, then I think that the balance will be fine for now.
So that was Puma's assessment of the current top tier. Right now, just about everybody can kill just about everybody, so it really comes down to whoever gets a shot on target first, and I believe that's also a fair thing when it comes to balancing. Fairly simple that way. It's almost like Call of Duty. It's you shoot me or I shoot you. It's almost like a gunman's duel. And of course, my apologies for not recording this right the first time, or to be honest, the second time. That's right, Puma had to do 2 takes here, where I struggled with my absent-mindedness and not understanding how to use my own equipment. What? Don't make it weird. And, well, all that is to say, this has been something of a lengthy editing process for me to cover up my mistakes, and I'll let you know the next question I was going to ask Puma as soon as I remember what it was that I just looked at ahead of time. But basically, we're seeing a mix-up in the balance of War Thunder. We've already seen a major change to the way that penetration is represented in the game, moving to a series of formulae that should stay fairly consistent across the nations instead of going from historical documents that can disagree with each other. Whether this means that things are going to match real-world testing really is not the point when it comes to balancing War Thunder. Balance doesn't care as much about real-world statistics as it does player statistics within the game, and I think that's something we're going to see with the launch of Rank 7. I suspect we're going to have a handful of MBTs for a handful of nations, with some of the Rank 6 vehicles moving up in rank to flesh out the tier and not really change the in-game meta all that much. Top tier vehicles could be an issue if the Challenger 2 does get the armor protection that it's possible for it to have. It could pose a threat along with up-armored Abrams, which is likely to be the American equivalent for rank 7. These things could shake up the meta. They could seal Club for a while, and if they do, I'm sure that we'll see battle ratings and performance of certain things move around within the game. It's nice to think that perhaps shell ballistics and penetration values for certain rounds will not be constantly changing, and the balance of the game will focus around something else, but for now we'll have to see. As for my next question to Puma, it was, keeping in mind that this is not a new thing as far as introducing a new rank in War Thunder Ground Forces. Most of us remember the introduction of rank 6, and so the introduction of rank 7 is honestly likely going to follow along those lines. But if you could design your own update to War Thunder, what kinds of vehicles would you introduce? And, well, I suppose why will be fairly apparent, but what vehicles would you add to the game, Puma?
Well, I think for Germany, I definitely want to see a light tank line because you know, there are plenty of the other types of vehicles in Germany, but we just don't really have that many light tanks, and I think it would be interesting to see a few more come to that country. Um, as for as for the countries with a lot fewer vehicles, you know, Japan, France, and Italy, I think that there isn't really anything in particular that I want to see other than just, you know, a lot more vehicles for for those countries, and hopefully a better balance at rank 6. And I think that really for the other countries like the U.S., Britain, and Russia, I think that really all that needs to be done is just taking a good look at the mechanics and the balance and how the vehicles compete with other countries, and also adding, you know, more rank 6 aircraft, and at least for Britain, fixing the Javelin.
Ah, yes. It's nice to remind us of the javelin and how useless it is right now. At least that's what I hear. I don't play top tier jets at all. Although, that is a good thing to bring up. The balance of realistic battles is definitely going to focus around the ground strike potential of aircraft. So, with helicopters available to certain nations but not available to others, those can pose a serious threat to all of these new tanks that are shortly to be introduced. Will we also see higher efficiency top tier AA, even with ground-to-air missiles? Well, who can say? Will we see more helicopters for other nations? I suppose that'll have to come for balance purposes. Hopefully those things will come sooner rather than later. I would love to see more options coming for ground strike to build parity between the nations. France needs ground strike helicopters. Italy does as well. So does Japan. And with the historically accurate weeb skins that are available for Japanese helicopters, well, that's just something I can personally delight in. But you look at the ground strike capability of the American late-tier jets, including the FJ-4B, that has access to air-to-ground, well, first-generation guided missiles. And who else has access to those? Oh, is it no one? I'd like to see those things come as well. But anyway, that's a topic for another time. Let's let Puma sign himself out.
I'm Puma, as he said, and it's been nice to, be able to share this with all y'all. So, yeah. And thanks for having me on, Toshio.
You're welcome, bud. It really is great to have another person on the channel to discuss these things, and especially to highlight the opinions of, let's say, one of your random average War Thunder players. Puma's a great guy, and he's been active on my Discord server. Maybe one day he'll start making his own YouTube videos. I don't think he's a YouTuber yet, but for all of you guys out there that have your own thoughts and views on the game, I'd like Puma to serve as an example that you can give a good answer for what you believe and why you believe it, and well, that doesn't even have to apply just to War Thunder, does it? Anyway, it's been great connecting with you guys, and I will definitely see you, if you want to, in the next video. Bye-bye.